Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Hacken. My name is Abhishek and this is second video in a series of Python tutorials. In today's video, we'll be saying basics of Python. In last video, we talked about how to install Python and what is Python and why do we use Python. Let's take a brief look. As I told you, Python is really a simple language and it's very vast. It has many uses such as we can make web applications, Android applications, we can do machine learning, artificial intelligence, we can do automation in Python and many more things. Python is really a great tool to have and it's really simple and very effective and powerful. So without any further ado, let's start. The first thing comes in Python are expressions. So entering expressions into interactive shell. In last video we saw interactive shell means the IDLE. We installed it in both Linux and as well as in Windows. If you have installed Python using the store, Microsoft Store that I told you, you will have no problem to cope up with this video. We'll use Python interpreter in Linux instead of Windows because I really want you to make familiar with Linux environment. As we are going to learn hacking, it will be beneficial for you as much as you learn Linux. So expression consists of two things: value and the operators. Each operator needs two values. For example, here we have 2 plus 2. This is an expression where 2 is a value and plus is an operator. Let's see what are operators in a bit. There are many types of operators in Python, including arithmetic operators, comparison operators, assignment operators. We'll only see arithmetic operators in this tutorial. As the name suggests, arithmetic operators are something that are dealing with mathematics. So we'll do upside down. In the screen you can see that we have mathematical operator addition, which we can use to add two numbers as we saw in example. This we can also subtract two numbers using minus sign. We can multiply two numbers using multiplication sign. It's just 8 on your numerical key. We can do shift and 8 to make this symbol appear. It's multiplication symbol. In Python there are three types of divisions which each gives different values. For example, the first slash, just slash, it's a division and it will give you the exact value of that division. That's, for example, if you are doing 22 divided by 8, it will give you 2.75 as in with decimal the exact value. But only if we want the floor value, so we can use double dash or double slash for getting the floor value or quotient. So this will be your 2 quotient without decimal. This is an integer and 2.75 is a float value. We'll see what they are in a bit. And lastly we can do modules. So modules, as the name suggests, will get reminders. That reminders are something that are left after doing division. So we have 22 and the percentage sign and 8, and this gives us 6 as a remainder, which is our modulus. So exponent is just something like power of so we can do that by using two multiplication signs. And let's say if I want 2 cube, then I do 2 double multiplication and then 3 to get 8 as a cube. Let's see this in an interpreter shell. So I am in my Linux environment. I'll just type Python and 3 to open the Python 3's interpreter, as I have two Python 2 and Python 3 also. So I have to specifically give it Python 3 to start its interpreter. If you are on Windows, you can also do this using CMD. You can just type Python and the interpreter will start similar to Linux. These two things are same. So, and we can type exit and close and open the close bracket to exit out of this interpreter. Okay, so this is my interpreter. You can also use IDLE if you are comfortable with that, but I would highly suggest you to use Python's interpreter using Linux terminal so that you will get familiar with Linux. So firstly we'll do 2 plus 2 and it will give me the 4 value. As I told you, we need one operation or one operator and two values. If I do only 2 and plus, it will give an error, and whenever we receive an error, we just have to copy that error and paste it in browser or Google, and it will give us the result how we can cope up with that or how we can solve that error. Don't get panicked out if you face any error, because error are just that your code or your interpreter is not able to understand what code you are giving it. So this was the addition. We can do similar with minus 2 minus 2, it will give 0. We can do multiplication using 2 multiplied by 2, it will give you 4. to divide by 2 with just single slash, it will give us 1.0, which is an exact value. And we can also get float value using 2 double divide by 2, and it will give us 1, which is float value. Float value is just without decimal. So that's it. And we can also get the modulus of 2 using 2 mod percentage 2, and it will give me 0 because there is no remainder when we divide 2 by 2. And we can also get 2 square if I want, like say 2 double multiplication and 2, and it will give me 4, which is 2 square. We can also get 3 is cube. Let's say if I want 3 and it's cube, it will give me 27, because and it is read something like 3 cube 27, like it's that. So this was your operations, arithmetic operators in Python. We can also use this interpreter to solve sums, like big sums, and this Python will follow all the rules of mathematics. For example, it will, let's say this is my input, then how the interpreter will process it is that in first step it will solve all the brackets. For example, we can see here that it's solved the first, this is the first step, and it has solved the first bracket, which is 5 minus 1 4, and then it will go on solving the brackets like 7 plus 1 8, and then next bracket 3 minus 2 2, and then it will solve this whole bracket 8 divided by 2, and it will give you 4.0 because we have used single division, which will give you the whole entire value, like float value, and then it will do the multiplication, and answer will also be in float value because 4 multiplied by 4.0 is 16.0. So this is what Python will do. Python will follow all the steps of mathematics. You don't have to worry about it. As I told you, each operator needs 2 values to be performed. So we cannot like if we get error if we are not able to give it whatever the value it requires. Now let's see what are data types. Data types are real major thing in Python because whatever the code we write using these data types. There are 3 major data types in Python, we can say, but there are many data types. Let's talk about integers. Integers you are already familiar with, that we used here. These simple numbers are called integers, 7 1 3. Integer can be positive, negative or 0, but it can be decimal. Decimal numbers are called as float values in Python. Here we can see 0.5 0.0. These are all float values. And last thing is string. So strings are really important in Python. It contains a large chunk of Python using strings. There are many methods, there are many functions that we can perform using strings. So let's talk about strings a bit. So strings has a syntax, like integer has no syntax. We can just give number and it will take it as an integer. So string has a syntax. For example, let's say I want to use string. String can be anything from letter, word or sentence, and sentence containing everything from spaces to symbols and special characters. Everything can be used in strings. String also can contain numbers. We can use alphanumerical using alphanumerical as a string. For example, this is syntax. Like syntax is something that we used to like. Syntax is something that our interpreter will understand. Okay, this is an string. The syntax is single or double quote, but we need to take care of this, that if we are opening a single quote, we need to close the single quote, or if we are opening double quote, we need to close the double quote, and we need to close it. If we keep it open, the Python will error out. There are 2 things in Python that we can do with strings. We can do concatenation or we can do replication. So concatenation is something that we add to strings, but we cannot add like mathematics, but we can just join these two strings end to end. So for example, if I do ls as a string, it's a single independent string, and operator and another string as Bob. So when I do this expression, when I run this expression, I'll get this following result, which is Alice Bob with joined letters. This is also an expression. As I told you, this is a value, this is an independent string is a value, so this is also a value, and this is an operator. So 2 values, 1 operator, the code will run smoothly. So this is how we can do concatenation. Concatenation is just joining 2 things. Then comes replication. Replication means multiplying things. Let's say if I want a 1,000 times, then I don't have to type a for 1,000 times. I can just give string as an a and multiply it with 1,000. Let's see of this example. Let's say I want to multiply, let's say I want to type a for 1,000 times. I don't have to a to a. What I can do is I can just press, give this is a string. Now here is this is a really important thing, that I have opened it with a single quote and I cannot close it with double quote. I have to do that using single quote only, or I have to close it. I cannot keep it open because Python will error out. So I have done this, and after that I can use multiply and I type 1,000. And what will this do? This is an again, and this is an expression. This is an integer value, this is a string value, and we can do replication, we can do concatenation. The thing is, we cannot concatenate a string with integer. We can only replicate a string with integer, and we cannot replicate string with string. So this is what you need to understand. We can multiply numbers with strings, but we cannot add numbers with strings. So once I run this expression, my a will run, it will print out for 1,000 times. So whatever the number I have given, it will replicate that times. For example, again, if I want to do a concatenation, I can do Alice and Bob, and this will run as smoothly as. Again, I can just put anything. Let's say I want to put numbers, or I want to put space, or I want to put some symbols here. I can do that, and it will run smoothly without an error. Here we can see space is also included. Let's say I want to print Alice Bob with space between, so I can use Alice with a single space, and once I run it, it will use that space as an symbol. So it will print out Alice space and Bob. So this was your replication and concatenation. Now there are many methods that we can apply on strings to get better results. For example, the first is uppercase and lowercase. Let's imagine that you wrote whole essay in lowercase and you want that essay to be in uppercase. For example, if you're doing some coding, like SQL coding, and in SQL coding we need uppercase, but you just type everything in lowercase, then we can just use the variable name. We'll see what variables are. We can just use variable name dot upper function, and the whole string will get converted into an uppercase. Similarly with lowercase, if we have done something with uppercase, we can convert that into lowercase. For example, let's say I have string test string, and this is, let's say the value of this string is this is my string. The test variable contains this value. This is my string, and I can see that, I can verify that using test, and this is my string is outputted. So now what I can do is, this whole string is in lowercase, and I can convert that using in uppercase using test, the variable name, and upper using the two brackets, and this will convert whole string. This is my string in an uppercase. I can do this with I can do similar with lowercase. This is my second. Here we can see this is my second string, and it is completely uppercase. I can convert that into lowercase similarly, doing this, and this will convert whole string part into lowercase. It will not affect the symbols or numerical values, but it will convert the alpha or alphabets into upper and lowercase accordingly, what the input you have given. So this was your uppercase and lowercase. Then comes boolean. Boolean is also in data type, but the value it only provides is true and false. Let's say if I want to compare two numbers, let's say if I want to compare 2, if 2 is greater than 3, which is false, then if I give Python interpreter these values, if I want to check 2 is greater than 3, this greater than 3 greater than symbol comes from mathematics, and which is used as a comparison operator in Python. It will return false. So this is an boolean. Wherever you see true or false, that is an boolean data type is being used at that place. So it can also compare to let's say strings. If I want to check if Abhi is equal to Abhi, it will return true because everything is same. But if I change it slightly, let's say if I change the value of Abhi with A, and it will give the false value. So this is a boolean data type. This boolean can be used to validate users input. Users input is something that user is providing you using its keyboard. Let's say if you're asking for user name, then whatever the user will type, it is called user input, and you can save that to a variable. We'll see that in a bit. So we can use these methods to check if the value is true or false. For example, name. Let's say I want to take username. What I can do is I can just take user name. I can save it to a variable, and I can take input from user. So this is the syntax how you can take input from user. Very simple. But for this I can also display a message for user. Let's say I want to tell user that enter your name, and this message will be displayed to user. And once user gets this message and we have added some input, what will happen is until the user inputs something, the code will not run further. It will just get on stuck at that place. If we need to enter something and hit enter, then only the code will run further. Now let's see if a user has provided it with its name, then what we can do is we can use that name, as we have saved that name, the input, into an use it is a variable. So we have saved name into a variable. We can use that variable wherever we want. Let's say I want to print a message to welcome the user with its username. So what I can do is welcome to Python tutorials, and I will concat the username As we saw, we can concat strings to string. So this is a string value. I can concat that with the plus symbol, plus operator, and this is another string. So if we save this, and we can run that in Python using Python 3. I will provide the Python 3's version and its number, and I will provide with the file name which I have saved using .py file. .py means it's an extension for Python files, so that our interpreter will know, okay, this is a Python file which ends with py. So once I enter this, the code will run. It will print a message which I wrote, which says enter your name, and if I enter my name Abhishek, the further code will run, which will tell welcome to Python tutorials Abhishek. So this is what Python input is used, and we can also use this. Let's say if I want to check if the user has provided the name properly, if the username is is name only, it doesn't contain any symbols or it doesn't contain any number, what we can do is we can just type username dot is alpha, and it will print out, or it will tell me, okay, it is alpha, or it is numerical, or it is alphanumerical, which we saw here. Is alpha num is for taking the variable or taking the value of variable and checking it if the value contains only alpha or numerical, with alphabets or numbers, characters only, and doesn't contain any symbol. So these names are self-explanatory. Alpha is alpha only, it will check that if the character contains only alphabets. Is lowercase will check only if the input is lower or uppercase. Is upper will check for only uppercase. It can also check for is numeric, it will only check for numbers. We can use is numeric at the time of taking age from user. So that we can do. Here we can check if the number, if it is true or false, we can print that out, and this function will run. Python, I will give Abhi, and it has written true, and it is the code will run further. In further tutorials, we'll be using this input validations to check if the name is only number, or it's only name, or it's only alphabet, whatever it is according to our need, and we'll be running that. If the user input is wrong and he has added some numbers in its name, we can just tell him that we can send him an error message saying that this is not a valid name, please enter your valid name and something. So these were the boolean methods. Then comes strings length. We can also calculate strings length to check if the string is according to our length, or what is its length, if we want to use that length number for some calculations or some further program. How we can do that is, let's say is I printed out a for 100 times, let's say, and I gave that value to a variable. So it will not print on the screen, it will only save that inside a variable. I'll tell you what variables are. As cannot be a name, so I'll do as, capital AS, because there are some names inside Python that you cannot use as a variable. As is one of the function, it's one of the name that we cannot use. Okay, so AS, capital AS contains 100 A's, and if we want to verify, we can just print that out, and these are 100 A's. If you want to know if this is 100 or not, what we can do is we can use this length function, and I'll give it the variable name. Here we can see length function, and this is the usage, this is the syntax. We can give len, len, and the brackets, and we'll add the variable name inside, whatever characters we want to count. And if we hit enter, it will tell me it's 100 A's, which we did here. So this is it. Then comes join, split, replace method. These are the methods that we don't really need to learn now. We can do that in future when we learn the lists and dictionaries in upcoming videos. Next comes the variables. Before that, let's know what are assignment operators and comparison operators. The people get often confused between these two, because assignment operator, you are assigning some value to a variable. Assigning, like when we assign a task to someone, it is similar to that. We are assigning a value to some variable. As you saw here, this is a single is equal to symbol, which means I am assigning this value to this variable. And comparison means we are just comparing two sides of 2 is equal to signs. Let's say I want to compare if 2 is equal to 2, it will tell me true because it is equal to, and is equal to, double is equal to is also a comparison operator, which I told you it's a boolean. So, and if I try to do 2 is equal to 3, it will give me error. It will not give me error, it will tell me it's false because 2 is not equal to 3. But if I try to do 2 is equal to 3, it will give me error, and it will tell me that we cannot name variable as 2. What we can do, we can give a variable a value. Let's say if I want to give this variable a value of 3, I can give that. So now this name contains value 3. So if I recall the variable name, it will give me the value which is inside it. So how this concept of variables work is, variable is like a box in your computer's memory where you can store a single value at a one time. You can replace that, you can override that value if you want in Python, but at one time your box will contain only one value of any data type, no matter what. We can give it integers, we can give it strings, we can give it float values, we can give it boolean values, no matter what. So for example, let's say I have two boxes, and I have named this box so that I'll understand what that box is. Let's say I have named this box as my, so I will understand this box belongs to me, and inside that I can put something that belongs to me. And if I have another box, I will write the name as my friend, and my friend will keep all the things regarding him in that box, in his box. So this is how the concept of variable works. The variable is just a small piece of memory inside your computer where you have stored some value to it. So whenever we want that value, we can recall the name of that variable, and it will give us whole value which is present inside that box. For example, here if I want to write something to my variable, let's say this is name, this is, or we can use some useful name to variable also. For example, username, and I want to give this username Abhi. So my username is Abhi. So whenever I will recall the username variable, it will give me the value inside it, which is Abhi, which I have assigned it. I can also override this using test. Let's say if I want to change the value inside that variable, I can do this. And let's say if I want to recall the value, I can just type username and it will give me whatever the value is present inside it. Previously it contains the value of Abhi, and now it contains the value of test. So we can overwrite it. This is the override nature of variables. Now let's talk about variable names. So variable names are something that we give name to a box. Let's say box in a memory, for example. So the name should be some of some relatability. Let's say if I'm storing my username inside that box should contain my username for variable name, and that name should be specific regarding that task. Let's say I want to store my phone number, then I will name that variable as my phone number. If I want to save that variable age, so I will give that variable name as age, and I will include my age to that variable. So we should be specific with what we want to save. We often do 1 or A, B, C, we use that, and it is useful when we want just temporary numbers or something. But if we want to keep it for a long time, or if we are saving that inside a program or inside a file, we are saving that program, so we can use variable names to be specific to that task. And there are some rules regarding variable names. So variable names, this on the right side you can see these are all invalid variable names, and I have provided with the reason why this variable names is invalid. And on the right side we have on the left side we have all the variable names that are valid. So we can use simple variable name with all small letters. We can also do that with upper letters. We can concat two numbers. We can use camel case. This camel case, it means we can use one big letter, one small letter inside variable name. It doesn't matter. We can use underscore. We can use underscore at the starting or middle of the file, middle of the variable name. That is also okay. We can use numbers, but we cannot use number at the starting or at the beginning of a variable name, which we saw. For example, we cannot use hyphen inside a variable name. We cannot use spaces. We cannot use number at the starting or even number as a variable name. We cannot use quotes or a single quote, double quote as a variable name. We cannot use symbols such as like exclamation, at the rate, hash, or any dollar symbol. Anything we cannot use in the variable names. This was your variable names, how we can use it and what are variables. Now let's talk about user input. So if I want to take user input, we already saw an example of how we can take user input in name. So this is how we can take user input using input function, and unless we type enter or we type something and hit enter, the program will stop at one place only. The input function waits for user to type some text on keyboard and press enter. So unless we press enter, the program will not run further, and we can use this text, or we can store that text inside a variable and use it in a function or in a program further. So this is the syntax of it. We can just give a variable name and we can use the input function and it will take the input. We already saw an example, so I don't think we should waste time on examples again. Now let's do our first program. This will be a very simple program, and you can run it at your system also. Just a minute. So this is your first program. We can do print. Like I forgot to tell you about print. Print is also a function similar to input, where we can print something on screen. So if you are running this Python program, it will print, and it has syntax of print it will just give it a name of that function. It is print. It will take open and close bracket, and inside that bracket we can use variable or we can use directly values. So here I am using variable direct values. This is a string value, so it will print that string on my screen. We can also give variable values, and we can concatenate using print. Print is just to print something. It will print all the things like your errors, it will print your numericals, float, integers, boolean, whatever you can give it, it will do it. We can also run functions inside print, and at last we can use print function, so it will print everything. So let's just talk about it. Here firstly we have this is comment. So comment is something that we type after hash, and what Python interpreter will do, it will just ignore this line. And comments are used for programmers comfort. Let's say I have written thousands of lines of code, and I read that code after 3 months, and I'll not be able to understand what I did at certain place because it's very long code, and it has been 3 months since I had done that coding. So we can use this comments. These comments will help us, and comments should be very specific. Let's say if I am starting a new program, or if you are starting a new file, or if you are taking user input, so what we can do here, we can also put the comments after any program. So let's say I have done this Python, and after that I can just this is taking user input. So I can give this line a comment telling this line is taking user input. So whatever comes before the hash will not be considered as comment. Only something that will come after hash, unless the line ends, will be considered as comment, and Python interpreter will just ignore that line after the hash. So this is how we can take user input. We can also use that user input for printing. Let's say if I want to tell your name is, if you want to verify that what username you gave, I can just tell me this is your name. And I can also take user input as integer values, and if let's say if I want your name or if I want your age, I can just tell enter your age, and I can take that as age. And I can also perform many functions on that input, let's say input values. Let's say if I want to add to your age, what I can do is I'll just convert your before that, let me tell you, whatever the user input you will take, it will be in the form of strings. You cannot take even if you type some numbers, it will be in the form of strings. So if you want to perform any multiplication, addition, or any numerical actions or functions on that user input, you first have to convert that to integer. How we can do that is you can just pass it to integer function. Let's say this age we gave into its integer function. Function ends here, so this age is now integer value. We can do mathematical functions. Let's say I'm adding +1 here, and this will add one value to my integer, and then I want to print it in a string, so I can just again convert it into a string, and this whole value, the whole value will be converted into string, and that will be used as a function. So let me just show you how we can run it. It's Python 3. I'll first program, and it's just displaying hello world, which we saw. It is an input which is just a simple print statement. Now it's taking enter your name, and unless I type something or unless I hit enter, this will not go further. It will be on that place only. So let me just give it my name. It's Abhi, and it's telling me that your name is Abhi, which we saw. We concatenated our string and the variable name where we saved our name. And now it's asking for my age, and I'll just give it my age. It's 19, and it will tell me you will be 20 years old next year, which is true. Where we can see that we took the integer name, we made it in, we took the value of age, which is string, we converted it to integer, we added one value which was 19 and now became 20. We made this whole value to be string again, which 20 was string, and then we use that as string concatenation with plus sign plus this string which was 20 and years old next year. So this was your first program. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you learned something new or if you want to cope up with this course, please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Till that, stay curious, stay safe. Bye.